Hey y'all, welcome to Kamira's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you guys an easy biscuit hack that is going to help you make the most delicious sweet potato hand pies. Now sometimes you want a little sweet potato pie, but you just like that little extra crust or you want a different way to make it. Well guys, you are going to absolutely love this recipe. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, y'all, so I am starting off with 3 medium sweet potatoes. You really could use 2 sweet potatoes. However, since I am firing up that oven, y'all, I want a third one for my lunches, okay? Now I'm going to poke these sweet potatoes with a fork and then rub them down with a little bit of olive oil. Even though I won't be using the skin, y'all, that one I'm going to eat. Child, I'm going to eat the skin of that one, okay? So I'm going to put this in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour and 15 minutes or until they are very soft. Like they should have, they should be oozing out with sugars. They should be tender. That's the only way to get them sweet. Now, some people will boil their sweet potatoes. I never do that, okay? I never do that for sweet potato pie. I feel like the flavor is not the same. Now I have allowed them to completely cool, and as you can see, half of one of these jokers is gone because I have eaten that. So baby, I'm going to take that half and then I'm going to use another whole one, and that is what I'm going to use for my filling. I like to eliminate the strings. Since I'm only using a small amount of sweet potato, I'm just going to take an immersion blender and I'm going to blend it until all those fibers are gone. I personally do not like the strings. If you don't mind them, then you can leave them, or you can chop your sweet potato up small, like every ½ inch, and that should minimize them. To make this delicious filling, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, as well as 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. But of course, you can adjust your spices to taste. I'm also adding 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a little squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Lemon or orange, just a little bit of citrus will brighten up the flavor of sweet potatoes and it makes the batter extra delicious. Now this right here is a great base for a sweet potato pie. However, some of the differences are that I'm not going to be adding any dairy or any egg to the recipe because I'm putting it inside of the hand pie. And you definitely don't want your filling to be too loose. Now, y'all, I'm going to clean my counter because I am going to use my counter to roll out these biscuits. Now, I like to get the butter tasting biscuits, okay, for this recipe. The grands, don't be getting them itty bitty biscuits, baby. You want to get the ones that got a little size on them, okay? Now, you do not have to use biscuits, okay? Maybe you don't like biscuits. Then what you can do is that you can use the pie crust, like the pre-made pie crust by Pillsbury. And then you can just cut out circles that become the size of what you're going to see right now. Okay, while I'm the size that I'm rolling this biscuit to. Now, what I'm doing is that I want to make this larger and flatter so that I can fold it over and make like an individual sweet potato pocket pie. You're looking for about 1/4 inch thickness. And then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons or so. I mean, this is kind of a fat. It's kind of a fat 2 tablespoons, okay, of the batter, alrighty? And I'm going to use a little water to help me seal the deal. I don't use egg wash to seal. I think it's a little better with the water because it'll form a paste with the flour that I've used to roll out the biscuits. And then I can just use a fork to press it down and seal. If you are using a pie crust in order to do this, you can do the same method. Now, something else you can do with these hand pies, which I do from time to time, but I'm not doing today because I don't want to go full big back, is that you can fry these instead of baking them. Now, I do things slightly different if I fry them. And if you guys want me to do a video on that, I can do a video. But one of the big differences is that I definitely do not overstuff if I'm going to fry them because that filling will really get out into the oil. But I'm baking them today just to cut back just a little bit, okay? And so even though I'm not trying to overstuff, I don't really care as much because nothing's really going to happen other than it just flows out a little bit if I overstuff them, okay?
So after I do all of my ham pies, I had just an itty bitty amount of filling left. So if you use the same amount of potato I did, this will pretty much be the perfect amount, almost perfect amount for 8 individual sweet potato pies. I want you guys to leave me a comment and let me know, have you ever made individual sweet potato pies? Did you grow up with this? I feel like this is just that down home good country eating, like that thing that you might get in a country store or something that your grandma might make just as a little treat, a little snack for you. Let me know if you've ever had something like these before. Now, y'all, I'm going to brush the top with a light egg wash just so I can get a nice brown, beautiful glazed color on these. They always come out better with a little egg wash to me, but you can brush them with a tiny bit of heavy cream. I'm going to bake these in the oven at 350 degrees for anywhere from 13 to 17 minutes. Mine took 15 minutes to cook. But just check on it, and when they're nice and golden brown, you're going to know that they are ready. Now, I am going to make a delicious orange glaze for the top. I feel like the glaze just gets it right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and then I'm going to use the juice of an orange until I get the consistency that I want. I like my glazes to be medium thick, not too thin, okay, or else it don't stick right to me. So you get yours to the texture you like. When my pies are this beautiful color, this is when I took them out. Now, I let them cool for really not that long, maybe about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to go in and glaze them. I like to glaze them while they still have a little bit of warmth on them. To me, that makes the glaze spread more evenly. Now, typically, I glaze the top and the bottom. I don't show doing that in this moment, but you want to do both sides if you really want that nice sweet crust. You could also experiment with making these ham pies with the honey biscuits. That would give you a sweet crust naturally. Now, I know y'all see that absolute deliciousness. How many of these are you about to eat, honey?
Okay, y'all, let's get into these sweet potato ham pies. Now, this is the one already broke in half. Y'all see the filling? Baby, the money in the filling. And that little orange glaze. Child, let me go ahead and get a bite for y'all, okay? Oh my goodness. You would be in heaven. This is so good. So y'all, let me know if you're going to try this recipe. I will see you next time in Kamira's Kitchen. Goodbye and God bless.